Hi everyone, it's Tuesday's Tips with Lori, and actually Lori is on a tropical vacation, and so I am Joy Erkenbrecht, and I'm filling in for Lori today. I work here at Kimberbell in a little bit of product development and also as a program manager, and so if you've ever been to one of our Kimberbell events, that's part of something that I help put together. But today for Tuesday's Tips, I'm going to show how to make continuous prairie points. Now if you've ever made one of our patterns before, we used prairie points in one of the designs in this Oh, the Possibilities for Spring, and in that project we did individual prairie points that are folded from a 2.5-inch piece of fabric. We fold them and iron them and press them, and then we have to join them all together. Well, today we want to show how to make a continuous prairie point so the border ends up like this, and then there's not the little piecing of all the different pieces together. We use this method in two of our fun patterns. This block of the week quilt we call In Full Bloom has a whole row of prairie points down here, and they make the little grass border, and I love the little caterpillar that crawls in it. And then our newest machine embroidery and sewing version of Hello Sunshine has 3 blocks that have the prairie points in them. And so I'm demoing today all 3 sizes of that, the prairie point border, so we'll have them all ready for our quilt that we're making. So, clear the deck. The first step is to cut the fabric to the exact size you need, and I love our step-by-step instructions. In fact, I'm going to show you the page I pulled out of the book. So there are step-by-step photos inside the book for doing every bit of making the continuous prairie point border, and I'm going to follow that today as I go through and give you a few tips along the way. So the first step is to cut the fabric to the 3 sizes that it recommends and that you're required to do, and then we're going to iron it, press it in half. So I've already made that crease here. This is the 7.5-inch strip, and this is the 5-inch strip, and this is the larger one that makes a longer point. So the next thing, you'll open it up, and we're going to do some measuring with a ruler and pencil. So our prairie point square is made on a 2.5-inch grid. So I'm going to line up my ruler where it says 2.5 inches, and I'm going to make it even with the center that I have just ironed. And I'm going to draw a nice mark right along the mark, or right along the ruler. And I'm going to flip it over to do the other side. And because we want our prairie points to be staggered, this one I'm going to measure at 1.25 inches. That's half the size of a 2.5-inch block. I'll still line up the top of the ruler with the folded center. I'm going to make one nice mark here, and then I'll measure over another 2.5 inches. And I'm lining up my 2.5-inch mark with the pencil line I just made. And I'll mark that 2.5 inches as well. We're finished with our ruler and pencil. We'll open this one up as well so you can see how I've marked. So the lines are staggered. On one side we've got them marked at 2.5 inches exactly, and on the other side we have a half of a block, a full square, another half a block. So this is the fun part where you get to clip. We're going to cut right down those pencil lines on all sides of the prairie border. So we've got them on this side and on this side. Now the ends that are just short, that go right into the folded line, we don't need those at all, so we can just clip them off right at that center fold. Make sure we get it nice and square. All right, the next step is the ironing. I'm going to pull out. We've been using these woolly felted ironing mats here at Kimberbell and absolutely love it. The wool does something special when it heats. The heat is reciprocated up from the wool, and so everything you press just stays nice and crisp, and that's really fun to work with. Makes it a lot easier to iron. So I'm going to start by folding. You'll see that once they're all clipped, we have these 2.5-inch squares, but they're connected rather than the individual 2.5-inch square that we had before. these have this connected folded line. That makes it easier to keep track of them so we're not losing all the little prairie points. So now we're going to just fold it as if it were a square, right in half, and I will iron that down. And on the longer prairie points, we'd continue to iron all the way down. This one just has 3, so we're going to work on the left side now. We'll fold it toward the center and press. And then while the iron is resting, I'll fold the second one towards the center. I like using the big iron for this because you can press more at one time. So now that we have those pressed one direction, we want to press it the other direction to tuck in all the raw edges. So I'm going to start on the side that has more prairie points. We fold that towards the center and press. And we'll move to this second one and press. And I have a glue stick because you can see what happens. We've got 4 folds of fabric there and it likes to jump up. So sometimes I'll take the little glue stick. This one might be out of glue. And just put it a little dot on that. It's fabric glue, but that glue will help hold it in place while we continue working. So we've got 2 folds. We're going to fold this one down as well, and we'll come back over and iron them all. Kind of looks like a little alligator or crocodile tail. The next step is to take the prairie points and fold them in half together, and we'll iron again. Isn't that great though? Little blades of grass or little mountains of grass are made. Get a nice solid iron on that, and then you take this to your sewing machine. I'm going to pull this long one and do an 1/8 of an inch basting stitch just right along the edge to hold it all in place. And that is how you make a continuous prairie point border. In the Hello Sunshine quilt, you'll need 3 borders, and this one ends up with 3 peaks, and this one will have 7. And this one, I haven't counted them, it's the longest strip, but this will get sewn right into the quilt block and is a darling grass border for where the wildflowers stick out from. So that's Tuesday's tip. I hope Lori's having fun on vacation. I hope you are all doing well. We thank you for joining us. Have a great day.